It's mid-morning at Tesla's headquarters in Palo Alto, California. Sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, bathing the open-plan office in a crisp, sterile glow. The hum of activity fills the air. Keyboards clack furiously, phones buzz with notifications, and the faint whir of a 3D printer churns in the background. Engineers and designers hunch over sleek desks, their screens displaying intricate blueprints of Tesla's next big thing. The energy is electric, relentless, a testament to the company's unspoken mantra: move fast or get left behind. The camera pans slowly across the room, capturing the intensity on every face: furrowed brows, caffeine-jittered hands, and the occasional stifled yawn. Then it stops. In the corner, near a wall of monitors tracking production stats, a figure slumps forward. His head rests on folded arms, motionless atop a cluttered desk. A half-empty energy drink teeters on the edge, threatening to spill. The camera zooms in. Eyes shut tight, chest rising and falling in a rhythm that defies the chaos around him. A hushed voice cuts through the din, sharp and ominous. If Elon finds out about this, he's done for. A sudden gasp shatters the moment. Jake, he's asleep. A young woman with a clipboard, her hair pulled into a messy bun, rushes over and shakes his shoulder. Heads snap up from desks. Papers rustle as people turn to stare. The office, a hive of productivity seconds ago, freezes in a collective breath. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Sleeping? Here? Now? Jake Carter, 28, jolts awake, his dark hair sticking to his forehead with sweat. His bleary eyes blink against the harsh light, confusion giving way to panic as he registers the faces gawking at him. What happened? He mumbles, voice hoarse. The woman with the clipboard, Lila, a junior project coordinator, steps back, her expression a mix of pity and disbelief. You were out cold, Jake, right in the middle of the sprint review prep. Jake's hands fumble to his laptop, where a half-finished presentation glows on the screen. Next-gen battery optimization. His heart sinks. He'd been up all night tweaking the slides, determined to impress the higher-ups. Now, the clock above reads 10:47 a.m., 13 minutes until the team's daily stand-up, and less than an hour until Elon Musk himself might drop by for an unannounced check-in. The whispers grow louder. He's been pulling 16-hour days, someone mutters. No wonder he crashed. Another voice, colder, snaps back. Doesn't matter. You don't nap at Tesla, not on his watch. Jake rubs his face, the weight of their words sinking in. He's not just any employee. He's the wunderkind who, 6 months ago, pitched an idea so bold that Elon had singled him out in a company-wide meeting, saying, "This guy gets it." Now he's the guy who fell asleep at his desk. Lila hesitates, clutching her clipboard tighter. She's seen what happens when mistakes go unreported. Last month, a coworker got chewed out for hiding a minor glitch in a prototype. Tesla's culture doesn't forgive silence. I have to tell Sarah, she says, almost to herself. Jake's head jerks up. No, Lila, please, don't escalate this. I'll fix it. I'll stay late. Too late, cuts in a sharp voice. Sarah Nguyen, the team's steely-eyed project manager, strides over, her heels clicking against the polished floor. At 35, she's a veteran of Tesla's high-stakes world, known for her zero-tolerance approach. She'd once been reprimanded by Elon for a delayed deadline, a humiliation she's never forgotten. Her eyes narrow as she takes in Jake's disheveled state, the untouched energy drink, the stares of the team. Sleeping on the job? She says, her tone icy. In my office, this doesn't fly. Jake stammers, It was just a minute, Sarah, I swear. She cuts him off with a raised hand. A minute is all it takes to screw up a deadline. You think Elon built this company on just a minute? The room falls silent, the weight of her words hanging heavy. Sarah pulls out her phone, her fingers hovering over the screen. I'm reporting this. Straight to the top. Panic erupts in whispers and sidelong glances. "She's emailing Elon?" one engineer hisses. "Jake's toast." Another snickers. "Good riddance, he's been hogging the spotlight anyway." But a few defend him quietly. "He's been killing himself for this project. Cut him some slack." Jake's mind races. He remembers that meeting 6 months ago, standing in front of Elon, heart pounding as he pitched his battery idea. Elon had leaned forward, eyes glinting, and said, "You've got fire, kid. Don't waste it." That moment had fueled Jake through endless nights, through skipped meals and missed calls from his family. Now, it's all unraveling because his body betrayed him for, 5 minutes? 10? Sarah's voice pulls him back. "You should have known better, Jake. This isn't a startup sandbox. This is Tesla." She turns to Lila. "Get me the sprint logs. I want every detail of what he was working on when he checked out." Lila nods, scurrying off while Jake slumps in his chair, the fight draining out of him. The office buzzes with tension as Sarah drafts her email. Her fingers fly across the screen, each tap a nail in Jake's coffin. Subject: Incident Report. Jake Carter, Battery Team. She types, "Caught sleeping at his desk during critical prep. Team morale affected. Recommend immediate review." She pauses, her thumb hovering over send. A flicker of doubt crosses her face. She knows Jake's talent, knows he's been pushing harder than most. But then she remembers Elon's voice in her earpiece years ago. Excuses don't ship cars. She can't risk looking weak. Jake watches her, his stomach twisting. "Sarah, please," he says, voice low. "I'll make it right. Give me a chance." She meets his gaze, her expression unreadable. "You had your chance," she replies. "Now it's out of my hands." The camera zooms in on her phone as her thumb presses down. The screen flashes. Sent to Elon Musk. A collective gasp ripples through the team. Jake's face pales, his future at Tesla hanging by a thread. The sound of a distant car engine revs faintly outside, a Cybertruck maybe, and the office holds its breath, waiting for the storm to break. The office at Tesla's Palo Alto headquarters buzzes like a disturbed beehive. The email Sarah sent to Elon Musk hangs over the room like a guillotine blade, invisible but razor-sharp. Engineers glance at Jake, then at each other, their whispers a mix of dread and morbid curiosity. "She actually did it," one mutters, adjusting his glasses. "Straight to Elon, no mercy." Another, a wiry guy with a Tesla tattoo peeking from his sleeve, smirks. "Kid's been riding too high. Time to crash." Jake sits at his desk, hands trembling as he stares at the next-gen battery optimization presentation still open on his screen. The words blur. Charts, graphs, numbers he'd spent weeks perfecting. Now, they feel like a taunt. He'd poured everything into this. Nights without sleep, weekends at the office, a girlfriend who'd stopped texting back. All for Tesla. All for Elon's vision. And now, because his eyes had closed for a handful of minutes, it might all vanish. Leela hovers nearby, clutching her clipboard like a shield. "Jake, I didn't want this," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "But Sarah, you know how she is." Jake nods, swallowing hard. He does know. Sarah Nguyen runs the battery team like a drill sergeant, ruthless, precise, unforgiving. She'd once stayed up 48 hours straight to fix a production snag, earning Elon's rare praise. But that same drive makes her a brick wall when it comes to screw-ups. The clock ticks to 10:55 a.m., 5 minutes until the daily stand-up. Jake stands, legs shaky, and grabs his laptop. "I'll explain it myself," he says, more to convince himself than Lila. "I'll tell them it was a fluke. I can still—" His words cut off as Sarah's voice slices through the room. "Sit down, Jake." She's back, phone in hand, her face a mask of cold determination. "You don't get to spin this." The team splits like a fault line. Half the room pities Jake. His red eyes and hunched shoulders tell a story of burnout they all recognize. He's been killing himself for weeks, a soft-spoken coder murmurs, tapping her pencil nervously. We've all been there. But the other half bristles with resentment. He's not special, snaps a guy in a faded hoodie, his voice loud enough to carry. We're all tired. He doesn't get a pass because Elon clapped for him once. Jake's chest tightens. He remembers that clap 6 months ago in a packed auditorium. He'd pitched his idea for a battery tweak that could boost range by 20%. Elon had stood, clapping slowly, his grin wide enough to light the room. That's the kind of thinking we need, he'd said. The memory had been Jake's fuel, his North Star. Now it's a noose. Sarah steps closer, her heels clicking a steady rhythm. You think you're untouchable because of that meeting? She says, her voice low but venomous. I've seen people better than you crash and burn here. Talent doesn't excuse slacking. Jake opens his mouth to protest, but she holds up her phone. It's done. Elon's been notified. Whatever happens next is on you. The whispers explode into a low roar. She sent it already? He's screwed. No way Elon lets this slide. Jake's knees buckle and he grips the desk to steady himself. He wants to beg Sarah to retract it, to give him a chance to explain, but her eyes, dark, unyielding, tell him it's pointless. She turns away, barking at Lila. Stand-up starting, get the team in line. The meeting begins, but Jake barely hears it. Numbers and updates wash over him as he replays the morning in his head. 5 minutes asleep. 5 minutes that might end his career. His phone vibrates in his pocket, but he doesn't dare check it, not with Sarah's gaze flicking his way every few seconds. The team rattles through their reports, tension crackling beneath the surface. Everyone knows the email's out there, a live grenade waiting to detonate. Then Sarah's phone buzzes. The room goes dead silent, all eyes on her as she glances at the screen. Her lips tighten, just for a second, a crack in her armor. She looks up, her voice steady but clipped. Elon's replied. Jake's heart stops. The team leans forward, a collective intake of breath. Sarah reads aloud, her tone flat. I'm coming to the office. Noon. No one leaves until I get there. Gasps ripple through the room. Noon is an hour away. Elon Musk, the man who runs Tesla like a warlord, is dropping everything to deal with this. With him. He's coming here, Lila whispers, her clipboard slipping slightly. Because of Jake. Sarah doesn't answer, but her jaw clenches. She shoves her phone into her pocket and snaps, Back to work, all of you. The team scatters, but the air hums with panic. Jake stays rooted, staring at the floor. Elon's coming. Not a call, not an email follow-up, an in-person reckoning. The guy with the Tesla tattoo leans over, his voice a low growl. Nice going, golden boy. You've dragged us all into this. Jake doesn't respond. He can't. His mind flashes to Elon's face. Those piercing eyes, that unpredictable energy. He's seen Elon fire people on the spot, no hesitation. Last year, a manager botched a delivery timeline and was gone before lunch. Sarah lingers nearby, watching the chaos she's unleashed. She'd hesitated before sending that email. Jake knows it. He'd seen the flicker in her eyes, but she'd done it anyway. Why? To protect her own neck? To prove a point? He clenches his fists, anger bubbling up through the fear. You didn't have to do this, he mutters loud enough for her to hear. She turns, her expression unreadable. Yes, I did, she says. This place doesn't run on sympathy. You'd know that if you'd lasted longer than 6 months. Her words sting, but there's something else in her tone. Regret, maybe? Before Jake can press her, she walks away, leaving him alone in the eye of the storm. The clock hits 11:15 a.m., 45 minutes until Elon arrives. The office pretends to work, fingers tap keyboards, screens flicker, but no one's focused. Jake's phone buzzes again. He pulls it out this time, hands shaking. A text from an unknown number. Be ready. His stomach drops. Elon? A prank? He doesn't know, but the message sears into his brain. Outside, the faint rumble of an engine grows louder. Heads turn toward the windows. A silver Cybertruck rolls into the parking lot, its angular frame glinting in the sun. The driver's door stays closed, for now. But everyone knows who's inside. The storm isn't approaching anymore. It's here. The Tesla headquarters in Palo Alto hums with a nervous energy as noon approaches. The Cybertruck sits in the parking lot like a steel predator, its tinted windows hiding the man inside. Inside the office, the air feels thick, charged with dread and anticipation. Engineers type furiously at their desks, pretending to work, but their eyes dart toward the glass doors every few seconds. Jake sits frozen, his laptop screen dark, the next-gen battery optimization presentation a ghost of his ambition. His palms sweat, leaving damp streaks on the desk. The clock hits 11:58 a.m. 2 minutes until Elon's promised arrival. Sarah paces near the front, her phone clutched tight, her usual composure fraying at the edges. She'd set this in motion, but now she looks like she's rethinking every word of that email. The team whispers in clusters. Some shoot Jake dirty looks, others avoid his gaze entirely. "He's done," a voice mutters. "Elon doesn't mess around with this stuff." Then the doors swing open. Elon Musk steps in, and the room goes still. He's dressed in a black hoodie and jeans, his face unreadable, his eyes scanning the space like a hawk. No entourage, no fanfare, just him, all 6'2" of him, radiating a quiet intensity that sucks the oxygen out of the room. The sound of his boots on the polished floor echoes, a slow, deliberate rhythm. He doesn't say a word at first. He walks straight to Jake's desk, stopping a foot away. Jake's breath catches, his heart hammering so loud he's sure Elon can hear it. The man towers over him, hands in his pockets, staring down. 10 seconds pass. 10 agonizing seconds of silence. The team watches, frozen, waiting for the axe to fall. Finally, Elon speaks, his voice low but cutting. "How long were you out?" Jake swallows, his throat dry as sandpaper. 5 minutes, he croaks. "Maybe less. I swear it was—" Elon cuts him off with a sharp turn to Sarah. "You reported this because he slept for 5 minutes?" His tone is incredulous, almost mocking. Sarah blinks, caught off guard. It was during prep," she says, her voice faltering. "Team morale was—" "Team morale!" Elon snaps, his volume rising. He spins to face the room, his gaze sweeping over every wide-eyed face. "You're telling me this team can't handle a guy taking a 5-minute break? What the hell is wrong with you people?" The office reels. Jaws drop. This isn't the reaction anyone expected. Not the firing, not the tirade they'd braced for. Elon paces now, his hands flying as he talks. "I don't run a sweatshop. I don't need robots who don't blink. I need people who think, who create. And you're all standing here like he's committed treason because he shut his eyes for a second?" Jake stares, dumbfounded. "Is this a defense?" Sarah shifts uncomfortably, her phone slipping in her grip. The team exchanges glances. Confusion, relief, disbelief. The guy with the Tesla tattoo mutters, "What the hell?" under his breath, but shuts up when Elon's head snaps his way. Elon stops pacing and points at Jake. "You, stand up." Jake scrambles to his feet, nearly knocking over his chair. "Tell me what happened. Right now. In front of everyone." The room holds its breath. Jake's mind races. He could lie, downplay it, save face, but those eyes, boring into him, demand the truth. He takes a shaky breath. "I've been working 80-hour weeks," he says, his voice cracking, "for 3 months straight, on a project, a battery design. I wanted it perfect before I showed anyone. Last night I didn't sleep. I was finishing the slides and I just couldn't keep my eyes open. It won't happen again. 80 hours? Elon interrupts, his brow furrowing. For 3 months? He turns to Sarah again, his voice sharp. "Did you know about this?" Sarah hesitates, then shakes her head. "No, he didn't say anything." Elon lets out a short, bitter laugh. "Of course he didn't, because you've all built a culture where asking for help gets you sidelined." He steps back, rubbing his temples. "This is insane. You're burning out my best people, and then you snitch when they hit a wall?" The room is a graveyard of stunned faces. Jake's legs tremble. He's still standing, still waiting for the other shoe to drop. Elon's defending him, but there's an edge to it, a storm brewing beneath the surface. The man doesn't do half measures. Then Elon does the unthinkable. He grabs a chair, drags it to the center of the room, and sits, crossing his legs. "Everyone, stop what you're doing," he says, his voice booming. "Right now. We're shutting it down." "Shutting what down?" Lila blurts, then claps a hand over her mouth. "Everything," Elon says, waving a hand. "No coding, no meetings, no emails. For the next hour, this office is dead. You're all going to sit here and think about why you let this kid," he jabs a finger at Jake, "work himself into the ground without noticing." A collective gasp ripples through the team. Shutting down the office? At Tesla? It's unheard of. Blasphemy in a place where every second counts. Sarah steps forward, her voice tight. "Elon, we've got deadlines. The sprint review—" "I don't care," he snaps. "You're missing the point. If you can't keep your people alive, there's no sprint to review." He leans back, arms crossed. "Sit, all of you." The team obeys, reluctantly sinking into chairs or perching on desks. The silence is deafening, broken only by the faint hum of the air conditioning. Jake stands awkwardly, unsure if he's included in this bizarre punishment. Elon notices and nods at him. "You too. Sit." Jake drops into his chair, his mind spinning. This isn't a firing. It's not even a reprimand. It's... what? A lesson? A stunt? He can't tell, and neither can anyone else. The guy with the tattoo mutters, "This is nuts," but a glare from Elon shuts him up fast. For 10 minutes, they sit. No one dares move. Elon scrolls through his phone, occasionally glancing up to make sure they're complying. Sarah stares at the floor, her face a mask of frustration. Lila fidgets, her clipboard forgotten. The team's resentment shifts. Some still glare at Jake, but others look at Sarah, at each other, at the system they've all bought into. Finally, Elon stands, pocketing his phone. "Time's up," he says. "Back to work, but hear this. I'm not running a machine shop. You're humans. Act like it. And if I hear about anyone else collapsing because you're too scared to speak up, I'm not firing them. I'm firing you." He points at Sarah on that last word, and she flinches. He turns to Jake, his voice softening just a fraction. "You. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., my office. Bring that project you've been killing yourself over. I want to see it." Jake nods, too stunned to speak. Elon doesn't wait for a response. He strides out, the doors swinging shut behind him. The room erupts into chaos. Whispers, arguments, nervous laughter. "What just happened?" someone asks. "Did he just save him?" Sarah doesn't join in. She grabs her phone and storms off, her heels clicking a furious beat. Jake sinks deeper into his chair, relief warring with dread. He's not fired. He's got a meeting with Elon. But those eyes, that voice, they promise something bigger, something he's not sure he's ready for. Outside, the Cybertruck roars to life and peels out of the lot. The storm has passed, for now. But Jake knows it's not over, not by a long shot. Doije le fan for. Bimat qua Jake, George Viet bang tieng en voijo de hoang trin hazartu. Tuong ung thesput trong kich ben kichuyen. Tui gyun hip jon hen, helo jiu sound hanvad. Them drama noibu, va tau nut that jejai kau chuyen tien lin. Moi jo an tap trong fat trien kot truyen, kong lan man. Part 4. Jake's Secret. The Tesla office in Palo Alto buzzes back to life after Elon's departure, but the air crackles with unease. Keyboards clack, screens flicker, yet the rhythm feels off, like a machine stuttering after a power surge. Jake sits at his desk, staring at the next-gen battery optimization file, his mind a tangle of relief and terror. He's not fired. He's got a meeting with Elon at 8 a.m. tomorrow. But the weight of that chance presses down harder than the threat of losing his job ever did. Around him, the team fractures. The guy with the Tesla tattoo, Mike, leans against a nearby desk, arms crossed, his voice loud enough to carry. So, what? He naps, and Elon turns it into a company holiday? Unreal. A few others nod, their glares cutting toward Jake. Golden boy gets a pass again. A woman in a gray sweater mutters, her fingers stabbing at her keyboard. But not everyone's against him. Lila hovers nearby, her clipboard tucked under her arm. He didn't ask for this, she says quietly. Elon saw something in him. Maybe we should too. Jake barely hears them. His phone buzzes, a reminder he'd set last week. Battery prototype data due. The project Elon wants to see tomorrow isn't just slides. It's a radical idea. A battery that could push Tesla's range to 1,000 miles on a single charge. He'd kept it under wraps, tinkering alone after hours, afraid to share it until it was perfect. Now, perfection's off the table. He's got less than 20 hours to pull it together. Sarah's absence looms large. She'd stormed off after Elon left, her heels echoing down the hall. Jake knows she's furious. Her email backfired, and now she's the one under scrutiny. He should feel vindicated, but instead, guilt gnaws at him. She'd pushed him hard, sure, but she'd also kept the team on track. Without her, his pitch 6 months ago might have died in a draft folder. The clock hits 1 p.m. Lunchtime, but no one's eating. Mike sidles over, his smirk sharp. What's the big project, huh? Another fairy tale to wow the boss? Jake clenches his jaw, saying nothing. Mike leans closer. You think you're better than us, keeping secrets while we grind. Spill it, or... Leave him alone, Lila snaps, stepping between them. Mike snorts but backs off, muttering, Whatever. He'll crash again soon enough. Jake shoots Lila a grateful look, but her frown says she's not done worrying. They're jealous, she whispers. You've got Elon's ear now. That's dangerous around here. Dangerous? The word sticks. Jake's not blind. He's seen how Tesla's culture chews up favorites as fast as failures. He grabs his laptop and heads for a quiet corner, needing space to think. But peace doesn't last. Sarah bursts back into the room, her face a storm cloud, a stack of files in her arms. She doesn't look at Jake, just marches to her desk and starts rifling through papers. Curiosity, or maybe paranoia, drives her. She'd overheard Jake's confession to Elon, 80-hour weeks, a secret project. What was he hiding? She pulls up the team's shared drive, digging through Jake's folders. Most are standard, meeting notes, specs, but one catches her eye. Project Enigma. Password protected. Her pulse quickens. She glances at Jake, hunched over his screen across the room, then types a guess. Tesla 1000. It works. The file opens and Sarah's breath catches. Schematics, test logs, wild projections, a battery with a 1,000-mile range. Not just a tweak, but a game-changer. Her mind races. Why didn't he tell her? She'd been his manager for 6 months, shepherding his every move. This feels like a betrayal. She slams her laptop shut, the sound cutting through the office chatter. Heads turn. Sarah strides over to Jake, her voice a whip crack. You've been sitting on this? She holds up her phone, the Project Enigma file glowing on the screen. Jake's head snaps up, eyes wide. How did you... Doesn't matter, she cuts in. A 1,000-mile battery? And you didn't think to loop me in? Your manager? Her words drip with hurt masked as anger. The team perks up, sensing blood. Mike grins, leaning in. Oh, this is good. Jake stands, his voice shaking but firm. I wasn't ready to share it. It's not finished. I didn't want to waste anyone's time until— Waste my time. Sarah laughs, bitter and sharp. You've been wasting it for months, playing lone genius while the rest of us pick up your slack. She steps closer, her eyes blazing. You think you're the only one who matters here? That this— she waves at the file— makes you untouchable? I didn't mean it like that, Jake says, desperation creeping in. I wanted it to work first, for Tesla, for all of us. Bullshit, Mike chimes in, crossing his arms. You wanted the glory. Admit it. The room murmurs agreement, jealousy fanning the flames. Lila tries to intervene. He's not like that. But Sarah waves her off. You don't get it, Jake snaps, his temper flaring. I've been killing myself over this because I believe in it. Not for glory, for the mission. You think I liked hiding it? I was scared it'd fail and drag everyone down with me. Sarah stares at him, her anger faltering. She knows that fear. Lived it when she took the fall for a missed deadline years ago. But pride keeps her rigid. You should have trusted me, she says, quieter now. We're a team. Or we're supposed to be. The standoff hangs heavy. The team watches, split between resentment and reluctant respect. Jake's secret is out, and it's bigger than anyone guessed. But it's also a wedge, driving him further from the pack. Then his phone buzzes. He glances down, an email from Elon, stark and direct. Bring Project Enigma tomorrow. No excuses. His stomach drops. Sarah sees the screen and stiffens. He knows? She asks, voice tight. He will, Jake says, meeting her gaze. I'm showing him everything. Sarah steps back, her expression unreadable. You'd better hope it's worth it, she says, then turns away, leaving him in the spotlight he never wanted. The team disperses, but the tension lingers. Mike mutters, "Dead man walking," as he passes. Lila offers a weak smile, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Jake sinks into his chair, the weight of the day crashing down. He's got 18 hours to polish Project Enigma, a dream that could redefine Tesla or bury him. And now, Sarah knows. The team knows. There's no hiding anymore. He opens his laptop, hands trembling, and dives back in. Sleeps off the table. Failure's not an option. Outside, the sun dips lower, casting long shadows through the windows. The office hums on, but Jake feels alone, exposed, vulnerable, and dangerously close to the edge. Tomorrow's coming fast, and it's bringing judgment with it. The clock strikes 7:45 a.m. at Tesla's Palo Alto headquarters. The office is quiet, a stark contrast to yesterday's chaos. Most of the team won't trickle in for another hour. Jake stands outside Elon's office, a glass-walled fortress at the end of the hall. His laptop feels like a lead weight under his arm, the Project Enigma files burning a hole through the screen. He's a wreck, eyes bloodshot, shirt wrinkled, hands jittery from a night of no sleep and too much coffee. 18 hours of frantic work have turned his dream into something presentable, but it's still raw, untested, a gamble. He takes a deep breath, adjusts his tie, and knocks. The door slides open automatically, revealing Elon Musk behind a sleek desk, surrounded by monitors and a half-disassembled Cybertruck battery pack. He's in a black t-shirt, hair tousled, looking like he hasn't slept either. "You're early," Elon says, not looking up from his screen. "Good. Sit." Jake steps in, the door hissing shut behind him. The room feels like a pressure cooker. Every surface gleams, every second ticks louder in his head. He sits, clutching his laptop as Elon finally glances up. Those eyes, sharp, unblinking, pin him in place. "Show me," Elon says, leaning back. "Enigma. Now." Jake fumbles to open his laptop, his fingers slipping on the keys. The screen flares to life, displaying the title, Slide, Project Enigma, 1,000-mile battery revolution. He clears his throat, voice shaky. "This is, a new cell design. It uses a hybrid electrolyte and a restructured anode to boost energy density. If it works, it could push range to 1,000 miles, maybe more. He clicks to the next slide. Charts, simulations, a 3D model spinning in real time. Elon watches, silent, his face a blank slate. Jake pushes on, adrenaline kicking in. I've run prelim tests in the lab. Efficiency's up 30% over our current pack. Charging time's down to 20 minutes, but it's not fully stable yet. Thermal management's tricky, and I need more data to... Stop! A voice cuts through, cold and clipped. It's not Elon. Jake turns, startled, as a man in a crisp suit steps forward from the corner. He hadn't noticed him, too focused on Elon. Greg Tanner, the man says, extending a hand Jake doesn't take. VP of Engineering. I've seen your file. Impressive. But this? He nods at the screen. This is fantasy. Jake's stomach drops. Greg's a legend at Tesla. Ruthless, brilliant. The guy who greenlit the Model 3's production line. And now he's here, tearing into him. It's not fantasy, Jake says, voice rising. The Sims check out. I just need... Sims? Greg laughs, sharp and dismissive. Sims don't ship cars. You think you're smarter than the 100 engineers who've been at this for years? This isn't feasible. Not in this decade. He turns to Elon. He's wasting your time. Elon stays quiet, his fingers steepled, eyes flicking between them. Jake's pulse races. Greg's words sting, but the silence from Elon cuts deeper. He's sinking, and he knows it. It's not a waste, he says, desperation creeping in. I've got lab results. Small scale, yeah, but they're real. I can make this work if... If what? Greg snaps. If we throw millions at your pet project? You're a kid who fell asleep at his desk yesterday. Now you want to rewrite the playbook? The jab lands hard. Jake's face burns, memories of yesterday's humiliation flooding back. But something snaps inside him. He stands, slamming his laptop shut. Yeah, I fell asleep, he says, voice trembling with fury. Because I've been living this. 80 hours a week, no breaks, no life. Because I believe Tesla can do more than tweak what's already out there. This isn't about me. It's about what we could be. The room goes still. Greg blinks, thrown off by the outburst. Elon leans forward just a fraction, his eyes narrowing. Go on, he says, voice low. Jake takes it as a lifeline. I'm not saying it's perfect, he continues, pacing now, words tumbling out. It's rough, it's risky. But if we crack this, 1,000 miles, fast-charging, stable cells, it's not just a car. It's a revolution. I didn't sleep because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I didn't tell anyone because I was scared it'd fail. But I'm here now, and I'm not backing down. Greg scoffs, crossing his arms. Passion's cute, kid, but numbers don't care about your feelings. Show me a prototype that doesn't blow up, then we'll talk. Before Jake can fire back, the door slides open. Sarah steps in, her face pale but composed. She'd been listening outside. Jake hadn't seen her follow him. He's right, she says, her voice steady. All heads turn. Not about it being ready, it's not. But about what it could be. I saw the data last night. It's unpolished, but the potential's there. I was wrong to report him yesterday. He's not slacking. He's bleeding for this. Jake stares, stunned. Sarah, his accuser, his wall, defending him. Greg's jaw tightens. You're buying this too, Nguyen? Thought you'd better sense. I do, she says, stepping closer. That's why I'm here. He's not perfect, but he's not wrong. We've all seen the numbers stagnate. This could break us out. Elon's silence stretches, a void swallowing the room. Then he stands, slow and deliberate, his chair scraping the floor. The sound jolts everyone. He walks to Jake's laptop, opens it, and scrolls through the slides himself. Charts, models, test logs. Minutes pass, each one an eternity. Finally, he straightens, turning to Jake. You've got guts, he says, his voice calm but firm. I like that, but guts don't mean shit without proof. He pauses, letting the words sink in. 30 days. Build me a prototype, one that works. No explosions, no excuses. You do that, and we'll talk about revolutions." Jake's breath catches. 30 days? It's insane. Months of work compressed into weeks. But it's a chance. "I'll do it," he says, no hesitation. Greg shakes his head, muttering, "Waste of resources." But Elon ignores him. He turns to Sarah. "You're on this, too. Keep him in line. I don't care how you split it. Just get it done." Sarah nods, a flicker of relief in her eyes. Greg storms out, his suit jacket flapping, clearly done with the circus. Elon grabs a marker and scribbles something on a whiteboard. Enigma, 30 days, then heads for the door. "Don't screw this up," he tosses over his shoulder, and he's gone. Jake and Sarah stand there, the weight of the moment settling in. "Why'd you do that?" he asks, voice quiet. "Back me up?" She shrugs, avoiding his gaze. "Because I was wrong yesterday, and because I think you might actually pull this off." She grabs her bag. "Come on, we've got work to do." They walk out together, the glass door sliding shut behind them. The office is waking up now, voices filtering down the hall. Jake's exhausted, exhilarated, terrified, but alive. 30 days. One shot. The clock's ticking, and failure's not an option. The Tesla lab in Palo Alto hums with a frantic energy as the 30-day clock starts ticking. It's day one, and Jake stands in a corner of the high-tech workshop, surrounded by oscilloscopes, battery cells, and a whiteboard scrawled with equations. His laptop glows with Project Enigma data. But the real work is ahead, turning simulations into a working prototype. He's unshaven, running on fumes, but his eyes burn with a mix of fear and determination. 30 days to prove himself to Elon. 30 days to change everything. Sarah's beside him, her sleeves rolled up, a tablet in hand. She's taken Elon's order to heart, leading a small, hand-picked team to back Jake. There's Lila, the junior coordinator with a knack for logistics, and Priya, a quiet but brilliant materials engineer. The four of them are a lean unit, but the task is monstrous. "We need a stable cell by week 2, Sarah says, her voice clipped. "No shortcuts. Let's move." The first week is a blur of caffeine and chaos. Jake dives into the anode redesign, tweaking the hybrid electrolyte mix he'd theorized. Priya runs batch tests, her steady hands assembling cells while Lila scrambles to source rare compounds. Sarah oversees it all, barking orders and double-checking data. They work 18-hour days, the lab a haze of solder smoke and muttered curses. By day 5, they've got a prototype cell, but it overheats in minutes, a charred mess on the workbench. "Back to square one," Jake mutters, slamming his fist on the table. Sarah doesn't flinch. "Square one's better than nowhere," she says, handing him a fresh spec sheet. "Adjust the cooling. We've got time." But her eyes betray the lie. Time's slipping fast. The team pushes harder. Day 10 brings a breakthrough. Priya tweaks the anode coating, and the cell holds steady for an hour. Jake's grin lights up the lab, but it fades when the next test sparks a small fire. "Thermal runaway," Priya says, dousing it with an extinguisher. "We're close, but not there." Sarah's jaw tightens. Close isn't good enough for Elon. Outside the lab, the office watches with a mix of skepticism and grudging curiosity. Mike, the tattooed cynic, spreads rumors. Heard they've blown up 3 cells already. Kid's a liability. Others whisper about the stakes. If Jake pulls this off, it's a win for everyone. If he fails, it's a black mark on the whole team. The pressure seeps into the lab, a silent 5th member. Day 15 marks the halfway point, and a disaster. Jake wakes to an email from Lila. Data drive crashed overnight. Lost yesterday's runs. He races to the lab, heart pounding, and finds Sarah already there, her face grim. "We've got backups," she says, "but we're down 6 hours of tweaks. We can't afford this." Jake's hands shake as he reboots the system, his mind racing. 6 hours is a lifetime in this sprint. That night, exhaustion cracks the team. Priya snaps at Lila over a delayed shipment. "We're drowning, and you're late with the damn lithium." And Lila storms out, tears in her eyes. Jake tries to mediate, but Sarah pulls him aside. "Focus on the cell," she says, her voice low. "I'll handle them." She coaxes Lila back, smooths things over, but the strain shows. They're fraying at the edges. Day 20 brings a new twist. Jake arrives to find the lab's main testing rig offline. Wires cut, coolant lines leaking. "What the hell?" he mutters, kneeling to inspect it. Sabotage. His gut twists. Mike's smirk flashes in his mind, but there's no proof. Sarah storms in, sees the mess, and curses under her breath. "We don't have time for this," she says, grabbing a toolkit. "Fix it, now." They patch the rig in hours, losing another precious day. Jake's paranoia grows. Every shadow in the lab feels like a threat. "Someone doesn't want us to finish," he tells Sarah, voice tight. She nods, her eyes scanning the room. "Doesn't matter. We keep going." But doubt gnaws at him. Who? Why? By day 25, they're teetering on the edge. The latest cell holds for 6 hours. Progress, but it still spikes at high loads. Jake's running on empty, his vision blurring as he adjusts the electrolyte mix again. Sarah catches him swaying at the bench. "You're no good to us dead," she says, shoving a water bottle into his hand. "Rest. 10 minutes." He resists, but she glares until he sits. The final stretch, day 28, pushes them to breaking. Priya's hands tremble as she assembles the 10th prototype, a sleek cylinder packed with their latest tweaks. Jake's voice cracks as he briefs the team. "This is it. Full load, full charge. If it holds, we've got something." They hook it to the rig, the lab silent except for the hum of machinery. The screen flickers, voltage steady, temp climbing slow. 1 hour, 2, 6. At 8 hours, the cell's still running. Jake's breath catches. "We're close," he whispers. Sarah nods, her eyes locked on the data. Then, at 9 hours, a spark. Small, but enough. The cell shuts down, smoke curling from its casing. "Damn it," Jake yells, kicking a chair. Priya slumps, defeated. Lila stares at the floor. Sarah grabs the logs, scanning them fast. 9 hours at 80% capacity, she says. "That's 800 miles. It's not 1,000, but it's something." Jake shakes his head, despair clawing at him. "Elon said 1,000. This isn't enough." "We've got 2 days," Sarah says, her voice steel. "We tweak it. One more shot." Jake wants to argue. He's done, they're done. But her eyes lock on his, unyielding. "You didn't come this far to quit." Day 29 is a fever dream. They strip the cell, adjust the cooling matrix, and rebuild it from scratch. No one speaks. Every move is muscle memory now. Night falls, then dawn breaks on day 30. The final test. Jake's hands shake as he connects the cell. "Full charge," he says, voice hoarse. "Let's see it." The rig hums. 1 hour, 3, 6. The temp holds, barely. At 10 hours, the screen flashes, 1 and 2 miles projected. Jake freezes. Sarah's jaw drops. Priya lets out a shaky laugh. Lila claps, tears streaming. "We did it," she whispers. Jake staggers back, relief crashing over him. The cell's stable. No sparks, no smoke. 1,002 miles. He turns to Sarah, grinning like a madman. "We." His words cut off as his knees buckle. He hits the floor, out cold, the last of his strength gone. Sarah kneels beside him, checking his pulse. "He's alive," she says, half laughing. "Just fried." Priya grabs a blanket. Lila fetches water. The cell sits on the bench, a quiet triumph in the chaos. They've done it, barely. But the clock's at 0, and Elon's waiting. Jake's eyes flutter open to the sterile hum of a hospital room. The lab's chaos is gone, replaced by white walls, a beeping monitor, and the faint smell of antiseptic. His head throbs. His body feels like lead, but he's alive. He blinks, disoriented, as a figure comes into focus. Elon Musk sitting in a chair beside the bed, scrolling through a tablet. No black hoodie today, just a plain gray shirt, sleeves rolled up, his face calm but intense. "You're awake," Elon says, not looking up. "Good. Thought we'd lost you for a minute." His voice is casual, but there's an edge to it, a weight Jake can't place. Jake tries to sit up, wincing as an IV tugs at his arm. "The test," he croaks, panic flaring. Did we?" "Relax," Elon says, finally meeting his gaze. "Your team brought the data. 1,002 miles, stable, impressive." He sets the tablet down, leaning forward. "You did it, kid. Passed out doing it, but you did it." Relief floods Jake, a shaky laugh escaping him. 1,002 miles. They'd hit the mark, exceeded it, even. He pictures Sarah, Priya, Lila, the lab's frantic final hours. "The team," he says. "They're okay." "They're fine," Elon replies. "Sarah's outside, probably pacing a hole in the floor. She's the one who dragged you here." He pauses, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. "Tough one, that Nguyen. Didn't think she'd stick her neck out for you." Jake nods, still processing. "She did. They all did." His mind races back to the cell, the prototype glowing on the bench. "So? What now? The project?" Elon holds up a hand, cutting him off. "We'll get to that. First, I've got something to tell you." He leans back, crossing his arms, his eyes glinting with something Jake can't read. Amusement? Calculation? This whole thing, the sleeping, the email, the 30 days, it wasn't an accident. Jake frowns, confusion creeping in. "What do you mean?" Elon stands, pacing the small room, his boots scuffing the linoleum. "I knew you were burning out. Saw it weeks ago. Your logs, your hours. You're not subtle, kid. When Sarah sent that email, I didn't care about the nap. I cared about what it meant. You were hitting a wall, and no one noticed." He stops, turning to face Jake. "So, I pushed you. Hard. Gave you a deadline no sane person would take. Wanted to see if you'd break, or rise." Jake's jaw drops, the words sinking in slow and heavy. "You set this up?" His voice rises, disbelief warring with exhaustion. "The meeting, the 30 days, it was a test?" "Not just a test," Elon says, his tone sharp. "A crucible. I needed to know if you had it. The fire, the grit. Tesla's not built on safe bets. It's built on people who'll run through walls." He steps closer, his voice dropping. "You didn't just run. You smashed it. 102 miles in 30 days? That's insane. Even I didn't think you'd pull it off." The room spins. Jake's mind reels. Every sleepless night, every failure, every spark in the lab, orchestrated by the man standing in front of him. Anger flares, hot and brief. "You could have told me," he says, fists clenching. "I thought I was done. The team thought—" "No," Elon cuts in firm. "If I'd told you, you'd have played it safe. I needed you raw, desperate. That's where the real stuff happens." He pauses, then softens, just a fraction. "But here's the kicker. I've been there. 20 years ago I fell asleep in a factory, face down on a blueprint. No one reported me. I was the boss. But I get it. I saw myself in you, kid. That's why I didn't fire you." Jake stares, the anger draining away, replaced by something heavier. Shock, awe, a strange gratitude. Elon Musk, the titan of Tesla, had engineered this chaos to mirror his own past. "You saw yourself?" he echoes, voice faint. "Yeah," Elon says, shrugging like it's nothing. "Young, dumb, obsessed. Difference is, I didn't have a Sarah to snitch on me, or a team to pull me through." He grins, a rare flash of warmth. "You're luckier than I was." The door swings open and Sarah steps in, her face a mix of relief and exhaustion. She freezes, seeing Elon, then nods stiffly. "He's awake," she says, stating the obvious. "Good." Elon turns to her. "You did solid work, Nguyen. Kept him alive, got the cell done. I'm putting you on Enigma full-time. Co-lead with him. He jabs a thumb at Jake. Don't let him pass out again. Sarah blinks, caught off guard, then nods. Yes, sir. Her eyes flick to Jake, a silent question. You okay? He nods back, a weak smile breaking through. Elon grabs his tablet, heading for the door. Rest up, Carter. Next week you're on stage, Tesla Battery Day. Show the world what you've got. He pauses, glancing back. And don't screw it up. The door shuts behind him, leaving a stunned silence. Sarah sinks into the chair Elon vacated, rubbing her temples. Co-lead, she mutters. Guess we're stuck together now. Jake laughs, the sound rough but real. Guess so. You good with that? She smirks, a rare crack in her armor. As long as you don't faint mid-presentation. A week later, the auditorium at Tesla Battery Day is packed. Thousands of eyes, cameras flashing, the air thick with anticipation. Jake stands center stage, cleaned up but still pale, the Enigma prototype gleaming beside him. Sarah's in the wings, arms crossed, watching like a hawk. Elon's there too, a shadow in the back, his presence a quiet pressure. Jake takes a breath, his voice steady despite the nerves. This is Project Enigma, he says, gesturing to the cell. 1,002 miles on a single charge, built in 30 days by a team that wouldn't quit. The crowd murmurs, then erupts as he clicks through slides, data, tests, a live demo powering a Model S across a virtual map. This isn't just a battery, he finishes, echoing his plea to Elon. It's a revolution. Applause thunders. Jake glances at Sarah. She nods, a faint smile breaking through. Elon steps forward, clapping slow and loud, his grin wide. The office watches on a live stream, stunned into silence. Mike mutters, "Holy shit." But there's no venom left. Lila cheers, Priya beams. They'd doubted him, resented him, but now they see it. Jake's win is theirs too. Backstage, Elon grips Jake's shoulder. Told you, he says. Fire and grit. Keep it burning. He walks off, leaving Jake with Sarah, the team, and a future rewritten. The camera pulls back, the crowd still roaring. Jake's voiceover closes it out. Sometimes the shortest sleep leads to the biggest dream. We just had to wake up and fight for it. Ban Jun Yeo Ko Fan Tiep Theo Nung Kao Chuyen Ban Jiao Juok Thiet Givoi 7 Fan Và Toi Vuai Huan Than Fan 7 Kit Thuxbat Ngo Jant Dausu Kit Tut Qua Ban Pak Tau 70 Foot Voi Hon 20,000 Tu Nhu Yeo Ko Ko Le Ban Mon Mot Fan Mo Rong Huak Mot Kao Chuyen Moi Dua Trenen Tang Ne Jelam Ro Toi Segia Jin Ben Mon Mot Fan Okern Han Trang Moi Bet Jiao Tiep Tuk Sao Su Kien Battery Day Moramot Chuang Moi Cho Jake Va Join Gu Doi Jai La Fan Ne Joak Viet Bang Tieng An Jo Dai Hoang 302 Tuangung Desen Foot Yun Hip Jon Han Drama Va Mot Nut That Moi. Part 8. A new journey begins. The echoes of applause from Tesla Battery Day still ring in Jake's ears as he steps off the stage. The Project Enigma prototype cradled in a technician's hands like a holy relic. The auditorium buzzes, reporters swarm, investors whisper, and Elon's slow clap lingers in the air like a seal of approval. Jake's legs wobble, not from exhaustion this time, but from the surreal weight of it all. He did it. They did it. 1,002 miles, unveiled to the world. Sarah meets him backstage, her arms still crossed but her eyes softer than usual. Not bad, Carter, she says, a half smile breaking through. You didn't faint. Priya and Lila join them, grinning like kids who've just won the science fair. We're trending, Lila says, waving her phone. Enigmas everywhere. Priya nods, her quiet pride shining. Lab's gonna be busy now. Jake laughs, a raw, relieved sound. Yeah, guess we're not done yet. He glances at Elon, who's already deep in conversation with a suit-clad exec, his back to them. The man's a whirlwind. Here 1 second, gone the next. But his words from the hospital stick, keep it burning. Jake feels the fire, flickering but alive. The next morning, the Tesla office is a different beast. The team greets Jake with nods, some grudging, some genuine. Mike, the tattooed skeptic, slaps his shoulder harder than necessary. "Not a total screw-up, huh?" he says, smirking. "Don't let it go to your head." Jake grins back. "Too late." The resentment's fading, replaced by a wary respect. Enigma's a win for Tesla, and they all feel the glow. Sarah calls the core team, Jake, Priya, Lila, to a meeting in the lab. The Enigma prototype sits on a pedestal, wired to a monitor displaying its stats. "Elon's green-lit production trials," she says, tapping her tablet. "We've got 6 months to scale this. Full integration into the Model S line. Budget's tripled, staff's doubling. We're not a side project anymore." Jake's jaw drops. 6 months? That's insane, Sarah finishes, raising an eyebrow. "Welcome to Tesla. Elon wants it on the road by next fall. No excuses." Priya adjusts her glasses, already calculating. "We'll need a bigger rig, and more cells. Hundreds, not dozens." Lila scribbles notes, her excitement palpable. "I'll get suppliers on speed dial." The fire in Jake flares brighter. This isn't just a prototype anymore. It's a lifeline to Tesla's future. But the scale daunts him. 30 days nearly killed him. 6 months feels like a marathon with no finish line. "We can do this," he says, more to himself than the team. Sarah nods. "We have to." The first month is a whirlwind. The lab expands. New equipment rolls in, techs swarm the space, and Jake's team grows from 4 to 15. He's co-lead with Sarah, but she handles the logistics while he dives into the tech. The Enigma cell needs refining. Mass production means tighter tolerances, better cooling, cheaper materials. Every tweak's a battle, every test a gamble. By week 3, cracks show. A new hire, Raj, a cocky engineer with a Stanford pedigree, clashes with Jake over the anode design. "Your mix is too volatile," Raj argues, jabbing at a tablet full of data. "We need a safer baseline or this'll blow up in our faces, literally." Jake bristles. "Safe means slow. We hit 1 and 2 because we pushed it." Sarah steps in, her voice cutting through. "Both of you back off. Test both mixes. Data decides." The lab splits. Half follow Jake's high-risk path, half chase Raj's cautious one. Tensions simmer. Egos flare. Priya mutters to Jake, "He's not wrong about stability, but you're not wrong about speed." Week 5 brings the first blow. Jake's latest cell batch, his original design, overheats in a stress test, melting a rig and sending techs scrambling. No one's hurt, but the lab's a mess, and Raj smirks from across the room. "Told you," he says, loud enough for everyone to hear. Sarah's face tightens as she surveys the damage. "We're behind now," she tells Jake, her tone clipped. "Fix it." Jake's gut twists. He'd pushed too hard, too fast. That night, he stays late, alone, poring over the failure logs. The data's brutal. His mix can't scale without a breakthrough. Raj's safer cell clock's 800 miles, steady but short of the goal. Neither's enough. He slams his laptop shut, frustration boiling over. "I'm not failing this," he mutters, the words a vow. The next day, a shadow falls over his desk. Elon's back, unannounced as always. He's holding a charred Enigma cell from the meltdown, turning it in his hands. "Heard you're blowing things up," he says, his voice dry. Jake freezes, dread pooling. "It didn't hold," he admits. "But we're—" "Save it," Elon cuts in, dropping the cell on the desk with a thud. "Failure's fine. Stagnation's not. What's the plan?" Jake hesitates, then grabs his laptop, pulling up a hybrid idea he'd sketched at 3 a.m., a blend of his volatile mix and Raj's stable base. "This," he says, pointing at the screen. "Higher density, better cooling. Could hit 1,000 again, maybe more, but it's untested." Elon squints at the specs, silent for a beat. "Build it," he says finally. 1 week, show me. He walks off, leaving Jake reeling. 1 week, another insane deadline, but it's a lifeline. He rallies the team, swallowing his pride to pull Raj in. Your base might tweak, he says, extending a hand. Raj eyes him, then nods. Fine, but if it fries, it's on you. Sarah watches, a flicker of approval in her gaze. Get it done, she says. No more explosions. The week is a pressure cooker. Jake and Raj work side by side, their rivalry fueling a fragile truce. Priya refines the cooling, Lila rushes parts, and Sarah keeps the chaos in check. Day 6 ends with a new cell. Sleek, unassuming, a hybrid born of conflict. The test looms at dawn. The lab's packed. Team, techs, even Mike lurking in the back. Jake hooks the cell to the rig, his hands steady despite the nerves. Full load, he says. The screen flickers, voltage climbs, temp holds. 1 hour, 3, 6. At 10 hours it hits 1,010 miles. Stable, no smoke. The room erupts. Raj claps Jake's back, grinning. Not bad, hotshot. Priya laughs, Lila cheers. Sarah's smile is small but real. Elon strides in, unannounced again as the cheers fade. He scans the data, then the cell, his face unreadable. 1,010, he says. Better than last time. He turns to Jake. You're not done. Scale it. 6 months, but... He pauses, a glint in his eye. You're running the show now, and Nguyen's your second. Jake blinks, stunned. Sarah's eyes widen, then narrow. Sir, she says, voice tight. You heard me, Elon says, already heading out. He's got the fire. You've got the steel. Make it work. The door shuts, leaving a charged silence. Sarah turns to Jake, her expression a storm. You're in charge, she says, the words clipped. Don't screw it up. She walks off, leaving him with the team, the cell, and a new burden. The camera pulls back, Jake at the helm, the lab alive, a horizon stretching wide. His voiceover cuts in. 1 dream down. 1,000 miles to go. The race never stops. The echoes of applause from Tesla Battery Day still ring in Jake's ears as he steps off the stage, the Project Enigma prototype cradled in a technician's hands like a holy relic. The auditorium buzzes. Reporters swarm, investors whisper, and Elon's slow clap lingers in the air like a seal of approval. Jake's legs wobble, not from exhaustion this time, but from the surreal weight of it all. He did it. They did it. 1,002 miles, unveiled to the world. Sarah meets him backstage, her arms still crossed but her eyes softer than usual. Not bad, Carter, she says, a half-smile breaking through. You didn't faint. Priya and Lila join them, grinning like kids who've just won the science fair. We're trending, Lila says, waving her phone. Enigmas everywhere. Priya nods, her quiet pride shining. Lab's gonna be busy now. Jake laughs, a raw, relieved sound. Yeah, guess we're not done yet. He glances at Elon, who's already deep in conversation with a suit-clad exec, his back to them. The man's a whirlwind, here 1 second, gone the next. But his words from the hospital stick, keep it burning. Jake feels the fire, flickering but alive. The next morning, the Tesla office is a different beast. The team greets Jake with nods, some grudging, some genuine. Mike, the tattooed skeptic, slaps his shoulder, harder than necessary. Not a total screw-up, huh? He says, smirking. Don't let it go to your head. Jake grins back. Too late. The resentment's fading, replaced by a wary respect. Enigma's a win for Tesla, and they all feel the glow. Sarah calls the core team, Jake, Priya, Lila, to a meeting in the lab. The Enigma prototype sits on a pedestal, wired to a monitor displaying its stats. Elon's green-lit production trials, she says, tapping her tablet. We've got 6 months to scale this. Full integration into the Model S line. Budgets tripled, staffs doubling. We're not a side project anymore. Jake's jaw drops. 6 months? That's... Insane, Sarah finishes, raising an eyebrow. Welcome to Tesla. Elon wants it on the road by next fall. No excuses. Priya adjusts her glasses, already calculating. We'll need a bigger rig and more cells, hundreds, not dozens. Lila scribbles notes, her excitement palpable. I'll get suppliers on speed dial. The fire in Jake flares brighter. This isn't just a prototype anymore. It's a lifeline to Tesla's future. But the scale daunts him. 30 days nearly killed him. 6 months feels like a marathon with no finish line. We can do this, he says, more to himself than the team. Sarah nods. We have to. The first month is a whirlwind. The lab expands. New equipment rolls in. Techs swarm the space, and Jake's team grows from 4 to 15. He's co-lead with Sarah, but she handles the logistics while he dives into the tech. The Enigma cell needs refining. Mass production means tighter tolerances, better cooling, cheaper materials. Every tweak's a battle, every test a gamble. By week 3, cracks show. A new hire, Raj, a cocky engineer with a Stanford pedigree, clashes with Jake over the anode design. Your mix is too volatile, Raj argues, jabbing at a tablet full of data. We need a safer baseline, or this'll blow up in our faces, literally. Jake bristles. Safe means slow. We hit 1 and 2 because we pushed it. Sarah steps in, her voice cutting through. Both of you, back off. Test both mixes. Data decides. The lab splits. Half follow Jake's high-risk path, half chase Raj's cautious one. Tensions simmer. Egos flare. Priya mutters to Jake, he's not wrong about stability, but you're not wrong about speed. Week 5 brings the first blow. Jake's latest cell batch, his original design, overheats in a stress test, melting a rig and sending techs scrambling. No one's hurt, but the lab's a mess, and Raj smirks from across the room. Told you, he says, loud enough for everyone to hear. Sarah's face tightens as she surveys the damage. We're behind now, she tells Jake, her tone clipped. Fix it. Jake's gut twists. He'd pushed too hard, too fast. That night, he stays late, alone, poring over the failure logs. The data's brutal. His mix can't scale without a breakthrough. Raj's safer cell clock's 800 miles, steady but short of the goal. Neither's enough. He slams his laptop shut, frustration boiling over. I'm not failing this, he mutters, the words a vow. The next day, a shadow falls over his desk. Elon's back, unannounced as always. He's holding a charred Enigma cell from the meltdown, turning it in his hands. Heard you're blowing things up, he says, his voice dry. Jake freezes, dread pooling. It didn't hold, he admits. But we're... Save it, Elon cuts in, dropping the cell on the desk with a thud. Failure's fine. Stagnation's not. What's the plan? Jake hesitates, then grabs his laptop, pulling up a hybrid idea he'd sketched at 3 a.m., a blend of his volatile mix and Raj's stable base. This, he says, pointing at the screen, higher density, better cooling. Could hit 1,000 again, maybe more, but it's untested. Elon squints at the specs, silent for a beat. Build it, he says finally. 1 week. Show me. He walks off, leaving Jake reeling. 1 week, another insane deadline. But it's a lifeline. He rallies the team, swallowing his pride to pull Raj in. Your base, my tweak, he says, extending a hand. Raj eyes him, then nods. Fine, but if it fries, it's on you. Sarah watches, a flicker of approval in her gaze. Get it done, she says. No more explosions. The week is a pressure cooker. Jake and Raj work side by side, their rivalry fueling a fragile truce. Priya refines the cooling, Lila rushes parts, and Sarah keeps the chaos in check. Day 6 ends with a new cell. Sleek, unassuming, a hybrid born of conflict. The test looms at dawn. The lab's packed, Team, techs, even Mike lurking in the back. Jake hooks the cell to the rig, his hands steady despite the nerves. "Full load," he says. The screen flickers. Voltage climbs, temp holds. 1 hour, 3, 6. At 10 hours, it hits 1,010 miles. Stable, no smoke. The room erupts. Raj claps Jake's back, grinning. "Not bad, hotshot." Priya laughs. Lila cheers. Sarah's smile is small but real. Elon strides in, unannounced again as the cheers fade. He scans the data, then the cell, his face unreadable. "2010, he says. "Better than last time." He turns to Jake. "You're not done. Scale it. 6 months, but—" He pauses, a glint in his eye. "You're running the show now. Nguyen's your second." Jake blinks, stunned. Sarah's eyes widen, then narrow. "Sir?" she says, voice tight. "You heard me," Elon says, already heading out. "He's got the fire. You've got the steel. Make it work." The door shuts, leaving a charged silence. Sarah turns to Jake, her expression a storm. "You're in charge," she says, the words clipped. "Don't screw it up." She walks off, leaving him with the team, the cell, and a new burden. The camera pulls back, Jake at the helm, the lab alive, a horizon stretching wide. His voice